Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining yet another session in the Power Apps Africa Challenge. Today it's special because we are going to consider and explore the world of automation with Microsoft Power Automate. Just before we start, I want to give a shout out to our partners who are part of this game, who are supporting us in this game. The likes of the Computer Revolution Uganda, we have the Computer Revolution Africa Group as well. We have Deep Brown Consulting, we have Reliance Info Systems Limited, and Fast Lane. In case you've not joined, it's easy to join the Power Apps Africa Challenge by going to the link aka.ms/PAAC. And what if the time you're checking this video, registration has closed? All you just have to do is to go to aka.ms/PowerAppsAfrica and join our community group. I can assure you, by joining our community group, you have opportunity to also learn, compete with other people, and win prizes, not just for those that entered into the game. So today I'm going to make an introduction of our guest in person of Muhsin. Muhsin Ahmed, how are you today?
Hello, hola, good afternoon. I'm fine. How are you too?
I'm doing great, and actually I can't wait to have you talk to us more about the Power Apps Africa Challenge, especially on the topic exploring the world of automation with Microsoft Power Automate. And right now, in case you want to share one or two screens, before you do that, I would like you to just do a brief introduction of yourself as we take it up from there.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mola, for having me, and I say good afternoon to everybody. More especially for those that are partaking in this African Challenge, because I remember last year 2021 I was part of this. I saw that you mentioned this in one of your recent videos, but I'm not sure I saw I saw you on the participant list at the time, or probably because I didn't know you at the time. So, but I was part of this and I won a gift there. Do you want to know?
Wow, what is the gift?
I won headsets. I don't have any.
What? So wait. Not just that you are also part of the participants. All I got from last year, aside the knowledge and skill, was the mentorship session with Microsoft employee, which went a very long way, I must confess. And I'm so happy that beyond the knowledge and skill, you also won headset, and this year you are back as a mentor, as a partner, and I'm happy to have you on this show.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure, to be honest, because the learnings were not valuable. I tell you, very invaluable. The learnings were just enormous. And also I wanted mentorship as well. So I see that I want so much more than you.
Actually, I agree. I agree.
So it was Alexio, and he actually assisted me to set my feet when it comes to certification and doing a lot of stuff when it comes to the Power Platform. Thanks a lot, Ola, for having me. My name is Mohsen Hamid. I'm a business intelligence analyst at Deep Brown Consulting. I do some Power Platform as well. I train, consulting and stuff. And that's what we do at Deep Brown Consulting, really. So we work on analytic systems and as well business process automation. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Please kindly confirm as soon as you can see it.
Sure. Once I can see your screen, I'm definitely going to push it out here. And in the meantime, you see at the bottom of the screen, we are projecting the link to our user group, aka.ms/PowerAppsAfrica. Once you get there, you will be able to join the community and partake. And right now, I have your screen projected, Muhsin. And once you open up your slide, we'll be able to take it up from there. Yep, I can see your slide right now.
Okay, so the slide is live. Can I proceed?
Yes, it is live.
All right. Okay, so welcome everybody to this talk. This is part of the conversation that will take place in the Power Apps African Challenge. It's not the only one. So I'm imploring us after now, let's make a date with us. Maybe the schedule will be shared so that we get to know what are the next set of events that we have lined up for us in this African Challenge. So today we'll be talking about the world of automation. And I will try to narrow it down to Microsoft Power Automate. Remember, this is a Power Apps African Challenge. And essentially, a lot of learning to go on when it comes to the use of Microsoft Power Platform. And so on the Power Platform, we have some products which we'll get to know more about them later. But why do we need to automate in our businesses? So you are a large organization or you're a small and medium enterprise. Why do you need to automate certain things within your businesses, and how can you begin to do that when it comes to the use of Microsoft Power Automate? So those are some of the things I'll be looking at, but just so that we understand clearly what the agenda is like. So today we have, I'll be starting my conversation with an introduction into the Power Platform. I understand that this is some of us that are participating. Of course, we might have a brief of what the Power Platform is generally. But some of us are probably just joining this live event on LinkedIn. It's possible that we don't really understand what the Power Platform is and what it can be used for. So we have a short-term conversation on that, after which we'll now go into the reasons why you need to automate. Why do we need to automate business processes? What are the benefits to individuals? By individuals, I mean employees. What do you stand to get? And what are the benefits to the organization as a whole? So it's both ways. So if there are certain things that are automated within the business, the employee that is doing those automations will have some, I call it instant gratification, and it allows you to do much more. And then for those of us, the organization, business owners, we get to see a lot of values as well. We'll also be talking about how can you start with building anything with Power Automate. What does the interface look like? Where do you need to go to understand certain things and some stuff? And after which we have a demo to do, which would explore something very simple that I know organization build systems for, organization pay consultants to build systems for, but it's actually something very simple that you can manage with your Power Automate. We'll see that also as we go on in this conversation. And at the tail end of everything, if there are questions, I'll be more than happy to attend to your questions. And I'm sure Ola is here, so Ola is a guru when it comes to the Power Automate. So you are in very safe hands.
But I'm here. I'm actually here to also learn from you today, Musin.
Okay, thanks for that. All right, so I'll go straight into it. Microsoft Power Platform. What does it mean? By Microsoft Power Platform, there is an indication that this belongs to Microsoft. And there should be the background that Microsoft has a lot of products. So Microsoft has products that are data related. They have products that are on the Office, so Office 365, Microsoft 365. They have the cloud products as well, a lot of enterprise products. But Power Platform is one of those products that Microsoft has. But Power Platform is different in the sense that it is a low-code platform. And by low-code, what we mean is that a lot of instances within the organization, people want to build solutions. Myself as a business user or as an employee in an organization, I've conceived a problem somewhere that needs a solution, an IT-related solution, so to put. What happens mundanely is that while I've conceived that, I might be asked to do a documentation of what the scope is, what the problem is, what the solution should be like, and all of those. So I have that drafted out. But the challenge is, because I am not a programmer, I will need to speak to somebody in IT to assist me with building that solution. And when I speak to somebody in IT to assist with building the solution, a lot of challenges will set in. Part of those challenges will be that when we are trying to conceptualize what the solution should be like, I will be communicating some things. I am the owner of that business. The problem generated, emanated from, my own conceptualization. And then I've communicated that to the IT person. The IT is saying it as something different, while I am expecting the solution to be something else. So there'll be a lot of back and forth between myself, who is the owner of the process, and the IT person. And then that would make the process to be much more longer than expected, process of building the solution. So because while I'm communicating A, it would go and change that feature, then it runs the demo with me again, then I will tell him, no, this is what I expect, this is how the process runs, this is what is expected. All of this back and forth will affect a lot of things within the organization. So a lot of processes will be stalled. And then we are not able to do some things because we expect that that solution should be built completely. But what Microsoft conceived was that, what if we are able to empower people so that all of us as business users, people in the business, people in the organization, we are able to build solutions of our own. You have conceived an idea, you have identified a business case, and you are able to build a solution that would solve that business case your own. That is what low-code platforms are for. So it allows you as your own self, by your own self, to build solutions on your own. And you don't necessarily need to meet IT people, programmers, coders, to get your solutions built for almost everything. So some things, right, sitting on your desk, you're able to build solutions for them. So that is the summary of what low code is about. So low code in the sense that you are not writing codes, or low code in the sense that you are writing something that might seem like code, but they are your day-to-day functions that you're familiar with, most especially if you are coming from Excel background or related places. So on the Microsoft Power Platform, we have 5 products. The products are what you can see on my screen. So I'll try to explain what each of these products will do. The first of them is Power BI. Power BI is the most common, the most popular. Everybody knows Power BI. You're somewhere, people are just asking you to use Power BI, you use this, you do that. Almost everybody uses Power BI. But then, what does Power BI do? Power BI is for business analytics. Business analytics in the sense that regardless of the size of your business, you are generating data. Assuming I'm a food seller, I sell food. Let me use food because I know some people may not understand what food is. So I'm a food seller, and while I sell in my own shop, I'm actually gathering some data. I may not just be doing it formally, because if I observed that I sell more in the afternoon, I would not necessarily come out in the morning, because I know that my customers would only come to patronize me in the afternoon. The decision of coming out in the afternoon is based off you having looked at your data, looked at the trend within your mind to say that on January 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you went out in the morning, but you made no sales until it was around 12 or 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So why do I need to come out early in the morning? So I can use the time in the morning to do some other things. So you are gathering data, you are making decision of that data. So what Power BI is for is to allow you look into your data, analyze your data, make business decisions, make decisions that will make you, that would scale your business, that will propel your business to the next level, and allows you to even do some sort of forecasting. You can look into the future to say that, okay, this is what the future looks like, premising on the fact that these variables A, B, and C, they remain like this, we hope to get things. So Power BI for business analytics. In the business case, in an organization, a lot of documentations go on. So it could be that we have an organization wherein maybe when a visitor comes in, the visitor at the security spot would have to sign a visitor's form. And after he signed the visitor's form, he then would go on, the visitor's form would then be sent to the receptionist, and the receptionist will book in that form. And after that, will assist you to contact whoever you have come to visit, and that person would ask you whether to come in or not. This process is managed manually and with paper and pen. How can we make this efficient? And by efficiency, we're talking more about this when I get to wire automation. But just an hint into this. One of the problems you would have when you manage processes like this is that, one, you would not have historicals most times. Let's assume that in the next 5 years, we just want to say, or probably there is a problem in the organization, and you're trying to track down some things, and you observe that, okay, somebody came in on so day, and we need the details of that person. The list of the issues that you would have is that you may not have those files traceable. They are all papers. They have been put somewhere in a shelf abandoned there. You may not have them traceable. If they are traceable, some of them might be destroyed already. Maybe rodents have taken care of them, or maybe you have some of them already burnt, blown away. You can't access them anymore. That is a problem. The other thing that would arise is that a lot of manual things has to do with people, you know, when it has to do with people typing, writing, and doing some stuff, it is prone to errors. You want to write Mr. Adeleke Ibrahim. So it's possible that you know one Adeleke Daimola, and then you just mistaking that for the person's name. That would bring in, you know, it just creates a situation of error, and that would make whatever you want to trace back to be erroneous as well, or even untraceable. So what we can do as an alternative, a reliable alternative as such, is to have a Power Apps built for that. When we have a Power Apps built for that, it could just be a situation whereby a visitor comes in at the security post, we have the Power Apps already deployed on. It's already deployed on an iPad or on a mobile phone or on a system, and the visitor goes there themselves. They type in their details, and as soon as those details are typed in, they are sent down to. Once it clicks on submit, the details are sent down to the receptionist. It gets to the receptionist. The receptionist will get prompted. Okay, these are the details, and then from there would prompt whoever is to be prompted as well. So it allows you a lot of things. One, the process is shorter. Secondly, is that the details are not just sent down to the receptionist. The details are saved in the data source. There will be a data source behind your Power Apps, which means that if you come back 10 years from now and you need those details, what you just need to do is to go back to your data source, filter down to the specific dates that you need, and you'll have those details at your fingertips. And again, because of the fact that it is the visitor that typed in these things themselves, it allows you high level of accuracy. So you are not listening to somebody to type in details, they are able to type down themselves. So that is what Power Apps allows you to do. When you think about anything that has to do with documentation within your business, Power Apps can provide solutions to that. The next product I'll be talking about is the Power Automate, which is the core of our conversation today. Power Automate is for business process automation. There are a lot of things that we do when it comes to administering our business processes. It could be that from a client, when a client comes in, that is something we have to do with a client. Maybe we have to take down whatever the request is. After we have taken down the request from the client, we need to send that forth to maybe it's the operations department or the sales department for them to validate. Then the sales will send it down to the operations, and from the operations, it gets to whoever will supply, or as the case may be. That process can be automated. So you don't have to be going from desk to desk. Once you have somebody done their own, it automatically gets transferred to the next person. That person would administer their own process, and then it gets to the next person, and all of those just happen seamlessly, system to system. People do not have to be moving from one office to the other. And this would even make much more sense because of the fact that we are in the era of remote working now. We all don't have to be physically present in an office. So if somebody is working in Ibadan or from Ibadan, and another person is in Lagos, another person is in Abuja, it is possible that we run our businesses seamlessly if you have a lot of things automated. So unlike when we have nothing automated, it means that everybody has to be physically present in a location before we can administer some process. So Power Automate would allow us to do business process automation. When we visit some websites, maybe we have noticed that you're on a website, you're doing something just pops up. It tells you, chat us here. Or it tells you, you have questions, or just similar messages. Many times, those things are not human beings. I'm guessing, I wouldn't want to say that I'm sure, but I'm guessing that no human being would be assigned to stay on a website 24/7, to be waiting for website users to type in questions and queries. It may be possible, it may be happening, and if it is happening, it's a lot of inefficiency there. So if it's not happening, then most likely what is obtainable when you see that on website is that those are not human beings. They are just some robots there. They are just machines. And this is something that you can build with your Power Virtual Agent. So it allows you to have a replica of yourself. You are somewhere doing something, and you want to interface with some other people. You don't have to be, of course, you can't even be in 20 places at the same time. So you need to delegate some things. But if you don't want to delegate this to human beings, it's inefficient. Why not delegate to a bot? So what you need to do is just to train your bot with some frequently asked questions. So when anybody, a user comes to your website, asks some questions, your bot will respond to them based on what you have fed the bot with. You have trained the bot with some questions. When somebody says good morning, so you say, good morning, how are you? And then when somebody says, I want to know about the service, it lists out your service. So you have loaded it with all of these questions, and it just happens continuously up until a point that you feel that if all of these questions are not sufficient, all of these answers are not sufficient for the user, then the user might want to speak directly to a customer service agent. So at that point, you now direct to a customer service agent. So it allows you to undo a lot of requests frequently asked requests that people...
Sorry, Musin, for interrupting. Just that your slide is not changing. I want to confirm. We are still on that Power Platform slide.
Yes, I am. So I'm talking about the products. The products to go, then I go to the next one.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot for that. So that's what Power Virtual Agent will do for you. So it just allows you to delegate some things to a robot that manages frequently asked questions or some related things. And you have that deployed, can speak to people, represent you. And once it gets to a level that you can't, the bot cannot answer that efficiently, then you can have it directed to yourself.
All right. I'm sorry. Just before we move forward, I have a quick question as a feedback here. Someone is asking, the power automation is not clear, sir. That is Collins Ikemefuna. And he also asked, these business tools, are they for small businesses? You know, you can answer both together.
Okay. So the first thing, let me begin with the last. Are they for small businesses? They are not for small businesses alone. Small businesses can use them. Medium businesses can use them. Large organizations can use them. So it depends. And all of this would have your specification. So it depends on your organization, the size of your organization. That's what will inform what kind of licenses you need to get to make use of these tools. And when it comes to, yes, Power Automation, what it does is that, assuming that, I will see a demo on that as well. But let me give an instance here. So let's assume that there is a file that gets sent to me. So assuming that we are a training organization, and in our organization, whenever we get participants that should be trained, we have those files sent to us by the clients. And when it gets to us, please take note of these processes. When the file gets to me, okay, via email, I'll need to download that file. After I download the file, I'll need to save it maybe on our master file. We have a master file wherein we enter the details of all our participants. I will need to go and update that with the new set of files that have been sent to me. And after then, maybe then I will now begin some other processes that has to do with their registration and some other things. But in the first 3 process, which is process number 1, I receive the file via email, maybe Outlook. Process number 2, I'll download that file. Process number 3, I will need to extract whatever is the content in that file. And number 4, I will need to now take those content, go and update it on our master file. So that's 4 things that I will need to do. And I might be doing this almost every day, depending on how frequently our clients send participant lists to me. This might not really be the best way to manage it. It is something mundane, something you do every time. You might want to delegate that, automate it. And how do you automate that? What you need to do is to build a flow. And the flow, and by flow, I mean a Power Automate flow. What it will do is, as soon as the file gets into, you will have listed your specification. Maybe there is a particular email address it comes from, or maybe there is a particular, what's it called, subject line for that email, or it is the only email that has an attachment. You will have all of those specifications well spelled out. Once you have those well spelled out, then as soon as a file of that specification drops in your mailbox, the flow will get triggered. So when it gets triggered, the flow, you would have designed the flow to pick that file, download it, extract the details, and then update your master file. So in a way, you have cut out all the processes that you would have done manually, which sometimes you might forget because you get a lot of emails, you have missed that, or a lot of things might just happen. So that's what gets automated, and then it just happens seamlessly and accurately like that, and you can just go on to do what's next to be done after that. I don't know if
yeah, a quick confirmation here. Maybe you can actually speak to this. Richard SN is asking, did you say small businesses can't use Power Platform?
No. So all businesses have the potential to use Power Platform. All businesses, regardless of the size. So what I mentioned was that depending on the size of your organization, depending on the complexity of what you want to build, that's what will determine what kind of licenses you need. But essentially at the base level, any organization can use the Power Platform.
Awesome. I believe this is clear now.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot for your questions, everybody. So let me quickly speak about the last product, Power Pages. Power Pages is for you to build external facing website. The Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtually, Power Apps, Power Automate essentially might be what you want to do, used to automate businesses internally. But your Power Pages allows you to interface with externals. And by externals, what I mean is you have people outside of your organization that you want to interface with. Maybe normally what you do with your client is that when your client makes some request, you have some files sent to them or some forms sent to them. They fill those, they send it back to you via email and do a lot of stuff via email. You might want to have that on a website, on a sort of a portal. So they go onto that portal, they just type in, they fill it depending on how you have defined the process. And as soon as they click on submit, it just gets to your own domain and you are able to administer whatever their request is. So that is Power Pages. So these are the 5 products that we have in the Power Platform. And these 5 products, they run on some engines. So the engines that drive them, we have the data connectors. The data connectors is that which allows you to establish a connection between any of these products and what it would make use of. So for instance, I want to build a report with Power BI. The report I want to build with Power BI would feed from a particular data set. The data set might be sitting in Excel workbook, or my data set is sitting on SQL Server, or sitting on Oracle or anywhere. I will need something that would serve as a communicator that would establish a connection between my Power BI and where my data is, so that Power BI can speak to that source. That is what you need a data connector for. So it just establishes that connection. It bridges that gap between this product and wherever, what other services or products you want to use with them. We have the AI Builder. I love this so much. It just allows you, it's an artificial intelligence builder, and it allows you to do a lot of things, You can use it to extract. You can use it to do text segmentation, recognition. You can use it to do extraction, do a lot of things that you just have to upload. Imagine you have some set of files that you want to extract some things from, and you do that manually. So you are looking at this field, this column A. What you need there is whatever is under column A. Then the next thing you need is under column F. You need to scroll down to column F to go and pick what is there. You need to, all of those are tedious. You don't want to be doing that every time. So you can have your AI builder, delegate it to do those extractions for you. Just have it, designate whatever is meant to be extracted. Okay, AI builder, you need to extract this, this, and this. Train it perfectly with some samples, and you will have your AI builder do that for you seamlessly. And the last thing that I have here is the Dataverse. Dataverse is the data source that the Power Platform is built on top of. So it has a lot of functionalities, a lot of richness, a lot of security when it comes to what is expected of a database. And that is what your Dataverse is. So your Dataverse can be used as the data source where whatever data is extracted or gathered by the use of all of these tools can be written to, and you can have them accessed after the time of usage. So that is the Power Platform product, and I'm hoping that this is slightly clear to all of us. Why do we need to automate in our businesses? There are a lot of reasons, but here I will just be speaking to 6 reasons why you need to automate. The first one is this. By automation, you will be able to accomplish processes that can't be done manually. It's either those processes can't be done manually, or those processes would take you a lot of time to have them done manually. So imagine there are certain things that are from your job function, but before you can accomplish them, it takes you hours every day, and that's what you do day in, day out. When month is rounding up, towards the end of the month, finance people, they do a lot of reporting. They have issues with their reporting. Why do I say they have issues with their reporting? Because of the fact that maybe from the 25th, they start working on their report, and they will complete that on the 2nd of the next month. And that cycle will continue to repeat itself every month, month in, month out. That process of reporting is something you do monthly. There is tendency for automation there. You can automate your reporting in a way. And one of the tools you can use to automate is what we have talked about. You can use your Power BI to automate that. So it just needs you to learn how to manage that so that it works seamlessly for you. And you don't have to go on to rebuild the same report every month. So that's the first reason. It allows you to accomplish processes that can be done manually or that will take a lot of time to be done manually. The second reason why you might be thinking automation is that there is zero downtime. Zero downtime, I tell you. When I started automation, maybe about a year ago after the challenge, there was a flow that I built there. And the flow was to send an email to me 6 a.m. every day. 6 a.m. every day. If I show us my mobile, the flow still sent an email to me this morning, 6 a.m. on my two Gmail accounts. 6 a.m. it sends the email to me, which means that even when I probably think that I don't need this to happen again, it will still continue to do it until the day that I say that, guy, it's enough. I don't want you to send this again. I don't want you to do this again. So there is really zero downtime. Once you have it set up perfectly, correctly, you are almost sure that this will continue to run, provided that your server is still live. So this will continue to run. And that is one of the reasons why you might be considering automation. The next reason is that when we build our normal platforms using codes and stuff, or even in the business when we administer some business processes, it's possible that there are issues within that business process. Maybe we are working with one of our clients and our client is complaining that, okay, this is not the usual thing that they get from us. There was a break somewhere. We are not trying to trace that up. We are trying to address whatever the break is. It might mean that if people are doing this manually within the business, what the implication is that we would have to begin to gather everybody involved in that process. Let's say we have 10 people in that process. Then we'll ask Mr. A, how did you administer yours? What are the proofs? Mr. B, how did you administer yours? Ms. C, how did you administer yours? All of them will provide proofs. When we gather those proofs, then we'll now sit back to now begin to audit. Who did not do what is expected of them? We begin to check. Okay, this one did well. This one did not do well. And after that, it is only after we complete all of this that we'll now be able to have reasonable response to our client to say, okay, this is where we observed that there was a break, and this is how we are going to remedy the situation, which would mean that we have expended a lot of our time in having to get a remediation for whatever challenge or whatever issue was raised. But when we have our processes automated, what would happen is, one is no such issue would actually occur. It's almost unlikely because you have a clearly defined process, and this is a machine, this is a robot. It will continue to run those as you have defined it. So most likely there won't be a break, except there is an issue with what you have defined. If what you have defined does not tally with an input, then there will be a break. But all things being equal, there won't be a break, it will run. But even when there are issues, that it is very quick. You can get to the issues very quickly. How is this? What you just need to do is to go to the back end of your flow, go and troubleshoot it from there, and your flow will tell you that this is where the issue is. And you can go in there, you see the error message, and you can just begin to say that, okay, this is what we need to do differently and address whatever issues you have. So it streamlines the remediation process. You'll be able to make more time to focus on high-value tasks. Everybody in the organization or prospective employees, you will have your job function defined, your J and D. It will be defined to you. You might have 10 things to do every day. These 10 things, maybe 5 of them are things that take a lot of your time. How can you begin to now focus on some other things when you have to be at work for 8 hours. You have spent 6 hours on 5 of them. That is why a lot of employees will be doing overtime every day, every now and then, because of the fact that they have bulk of their time or some of their tasks taking the bulk of their time, and they have to complete everything. So how can you begin to now save some time so that you can have time to focus on more important things? That is one of the things that automation would give to you. And let me give us an example very recently here. So at the moment at DBrown Consulting, we are running our analyst bootcamp. And for the first phase, we had 400 people admitted for the first phase. I had to register 400 people, 400 participants on our learning management system to begin their coursework. Assuming that normally it would take me 1 minute, let's assume that it would take me 1 minute to register a participant. If I want to register 400 of such participants, how long would that take me? I can't remember my mathematics very well. 400 divided by 60 maybe that will be about 6 hours plus or something. If that is 6 hours of my time and I have 8 hours to work in a day, if I spend 6 hours of my time registering participants, that is not productive at all. It means that some of my assignments will be, pushed forward to the next day to handle. So what I did instead was that there is a part of Power Automate, which is called the Power Automate Desktop, and I built a bot, an RPA bot with that. And what I did was, they were supposed to be registered on Monday. Sunday, when I was done with everything I was supposed to do, I was done with everything. I was about going to bed. So what I did was I just launched that bot, and then I have organized the file, the details of the participants, how to pull it and everything, and then I ran the bot and I went to bed. I woke up around past 3 that night, or maybe to 4 or so, and I saw that my bot had registered my participant for me. That saved me about 6 hours of time, which I would have spent registering, doing that manually. So it just allows you to spend quality time on some other things that are much more important. And the next one is that issues with errors and risk, they are very, very minimal or eliminated completely. It is not human being that is doing this. It is a machine. Provided all things being equal, all things well set, you would have this to run as no error. 100% accuracy. You are expected to have that. So it is human being when you are trying to do, most especially when it comes to data gathering, data collection and stuff, you say somebody wants to write 0, they put O. Somebody wants to write 9, they put G, and a lot of errors will set in. So if you get this delegated to an automated bot, it will happen seamlessly. It's happen almost error-free, and you can rely on whatever the output is. And the last one I will be talking about here is that it transforms your organization into a highly agile and scalable one. How is this? In the organization, a lot of processes rely on some individuals. So just assume that some of the individuals that your processes rely on, maybe one of them is sick, one of them had to travel, one of them was on leave, one of them had to do A, B, C, or so, and they are not at work. It means your processes would not go on. Your processes would stop. How can you remedy such situation? You need to get some part of your processes automated so that even when people are not there, these processes will still continue to run. So it's a way to make your organizations agile. Your organizations would not, in a way, be affected immediately by you having to, having to make the processes rely on heavily on individuals within the business. But does this mean that we would make some people lose their job? Because many times that's what people would ask, that if my organization is automating their business processes, what then is my stake in the organization? I would speak to this from 2 angles. One is that for you as an individual, if you learn automation, your work would be much more efficient, you'll be much more productive with your work, you have quality time to attend to a lot of things. A lot of things might even be outside of your work schedule. So because if you are meant to spend 8 hours at work and you are able to complete whatever you have done, you have to do that day in less hours, which means you have more hours to learn. You have more hours to explore some other things. You have more hours to research. So it's at your benefit. And because of the fact that you are productive with your work, you are efficient, you're able to meet deadlines, that may earn you some promotions in the organization. That may make the organization want to reward you, want to promote you. So it's to your advantage to learn automation. And secondly, for the organization is it allows the organization to also begin to focus on some other things. So because we are able to complete our projects with our clients early enough, because we have some of these processes automated, it means that we have the potential of getting more projects, more contracts. So it's a two-way thing. So everybody, let's learn automation. Now we want to dive in. When we want to automate our business processes, how can we do that? What are the products that will do that? I want to round this up very, very shortly. And so I will go to my browser now, and I'll bring up my Power Automate so that we see what the interface is like. This is the interface of Power Automate. For those of us that we are not familiar with this, when you go to powerautomate.com, this is what you would see at a glance, or at the first, entering into this. Where can you begin from? What I would say is this platform is highly intuitive. So if you look at what I have here, so you can get to imagine what we can do from all of it. So this is the create tab, so you can create your flows from here. You can manage your connectors. AI builder that we talked about is here. Process advisor. This might be something you want to explore. Why would you want to explore process advisor? A lot of processes in the organization, when it comes to we using some legacy systems, we may not know that there are possibilities to automate within that system. This would assist us to do that. So you can run a process advisor on that legacy system, have the users work on the system, have it recorded, and that would tell you suggestions of where to automate within that particular business process. So, and a lot of things. But because of our time, I'll just leave us to explore this so that later on we can get to say what's possible, and so that we can go into building something actually now to say how easily we can build something within the little time that we have left. What I want us to look at quickly now is this. In some organizations, they have, when the employees come in the morning, they check in, and when they're leaving in the afternoon, they check out. Some organizations pay heavily for this. They speak to some IT consulting firms to build some solutions for them. Maybe you might have a button control placed on a wall, and then what happens is that the employees will go to that spot. They click on that button, it registers them, they are in, and when they close after work, they go back to that button, they click, and then one is that organization might be investing heavily on this. And when this is faulty, you have to speak back to those people that have built that solution for you. Secondly is that, assuming that we have a very large space in our office, and where that button is fixed, it's not close to my own desk. I won't find it convenient to always go there. In fact, I might forget. Maybe it's not even a pathway to exit the organization. So I might forget, and then I didn't clock out today, I didn't clock out tomorrow, and I'm receiving queries. So what more can we do? How can we get to do this much better? So what we can do is we can build a flow for this. And when we build a flow for this, we share it within with everyone in the organization, and they have access to it on their mobile. Many people are glued to their mobile. So they are seated on their desks in the morning. You can even have a prompt, something to tell them that you clocked in, and then they just launch their app. They click just a single button, click, and then they clock in. And when they're closed for the day, you have something that prompts them. They go on their mobile again, they clock in, they clock out, and everything is saved. And you have the data available. So this is where I want the data to be saved. I have my employee name, it will be captured, the check-in location, the check-in time, checkout location, and the checkout time. So let's see what we can build in a few minutes. So I come here to my Power Automate, and then here I'll come to create. So once I come to create it, these are the kinds of flows, but my time will not allow me to go to that. But we want to build a button flow, something that people can just click a button, and then it just runs. So I'll build an instant cloud flow, and I'll call this, let me call this check-in. And this will be manually triggered, and then I want to create. So everything that we're going to be doing here, for you to automate a business process, one is that you must ensure that you understand what the process is about. It's only if you understand the process, that's only when you can build a solution for you. So you have to be clear. So we are here. This is the button that will trigger our flow. What does trigger mean? What's to be done for something to happen. So in all your flows, you would have trigger and set of actions, or one action, depending. But you must have a trigger and an action. The trigger is what would initiate the process. The action would be what would happen consequent to the initialization of that process. So now we have triggered our flow. What do we want to happen? We want to, when an employee click on that button, we want the details of that employee to be filled out on this SharePoint list. So what I would do is I'll come here, I'll add a new step, and I'm using a SharePoint. So I will type SharePoint here. I'll click SharePoint to streamline my options, and then I want to create an item. So I'll create item on my SharePoint list. That's what I want to do. So now it's asking me intuitively, what is your SharePoint site address? So I can come to this drop down, and I'll select, this is my site address, Power Platform Demo. How do I know my site address? It's here. This is Power Platform Demo. And you can actually copy it from here too. So, and then what is the list name? We have given our list a name. So this is the name, Employee Check-in Register. So I'll come here, I'll select the drop down and then I'll say employee check-in register. So this is the list name. And as soon as it recognizes that, it will drop down with the options that we have on that list. So what do I want to fill into this? Employee name. I want it to be the username of whoever is clicking on this button. So a user will click on this button. Their details are already saved on our Active Directory. So to pick the username, it should put it in the employee name for us. Check-in location. It should pick the full address of the person. The check-in time. So we want this to be the time, the exact time that this is happening. So we just write a little expression here. So we say UTC now. Of course, this might have to be to do with some time zones. You can see, hopefully if you have time, we can address that later. So I'll click on expression is invalid. So UTC now. So that is, I want it the exact time that I'm using this button. That's what I want to be here. Checkout location. I don't want to fill that yet. This is check-in. Checkout time. I want to update that later. So I'll click on save. So once this is saved successfully, we can go on to run it and test. So your flow is ready to go. So I can come here to test. I want to test this manually, and then I can go on to test. So you try to establish connection to my connector. So I'm using the SharePoint connector. You know, I'm writing data to that. That's the concept of the connector that we talked about. I'll click on run flow. So I've run this flow. So let's say if this would succeed. So we have a checkbox, your flow runs successfully. If I come to my SharePoint and I refresh this, so this is still loading. As soon as it's done, we're meant to get those details. So let me just refresh a second time. All right, so we already see that. This seat here, Mohsen Hamid, location, and this is the check-in time. So I clicked on that, I've checked in. Then now I need to check out. So we just build a flow quickly to manage our checkout. So I'll create an instant flow again. Then I'll come here, I'll call this checkout. I want to manually trigger this, and then I'll create. So the same thing, but remember, we want to check out now, and we already have our details on check-in. So we need to recall that detail. That is the first thing we need to do, because we just need to update. So we need to recall first before we can update. So I'll go on to my SharePoint. That is where my data is sitting on, my SharePoint, and I will ask it to get items. So I can scroll down. This is something we can really explore. So it's all intuitive. What do you want to get? I want to get items. Items from where? The site address. So I'll provide a site address, which is Power Platform demo. The list name, that is the same list, which is employee check-in register. But before I go on with this, I don't want it to return the entirety. For instance, on my list, maybe I have 100 input already. I don't want it to return everything. I want to apply some filters. So I'll come here to my filter query, and I will say that it should only return employee name that is equal to, should only return employee name that is equal to the current user. So a user is signed in now. Myself, I'm signing in and I'm using that button. It should return whatever record matches my name. And also, it should also look at the checkout time if the checkout time is blank. You know, my name might appear here in a number of times, but want to check which one has the checkout time blank, which most likely is the most recent. That is what we want to return. So I'll come here and say that, and the checkout time equals null. So that is all I'm doing. I want it to return the employee name that is equal to the employee, the current user, and the checkout time is blank. And then, so once it returns that, then I want to update that record with the checkout time. So I'll go on to SharePoint. And so on my SharePoint list, what I want to do is to update. So I can actually search for updates. I can do update item. And what is the site address that I want to update an item on? Power Platform demo, the site, the list name, that's an employee check-in register, and what is the ID? So the ID would come from whatever was returned here, and that was wrapped in and applied to each. So that's it's for a reason, really. And so what I just want to update here is the checkout location. So I want that to be my actual location where I'm checking out from. Maybe this is a business where they have different locations. We want to know where you checked in and where you checked out. And the checkout time, I want to put that as UTC now, whatever the time is at the moment. So if the expression is invalid, I'll just write this UTC now, and I'll do OK. So all things being equal, I have this, I have my ID. Then let me save this flow. So I'll save this. I'm trying to walk by the time now so that we can wrap up. So I have this saved. Let's go on to test. So I'll run manually. I'll test. And then continue, run flow. Done. So let's see if this will run successfully. All right, so this is running, this runs successfully. So I'll come back to my SharePoint list. Let me refresh and see what we would have. Okay, so it hasn't dropped, so I'll refresh again. All right, and we have my checkout location. We also do have my checkout time. And like I mentioned, there's a thing of time zone. You know, we're using UTC now, so maybe I'll need to add some hours to this to make this work. But I'm guessing my time would be almost up now. Hola, my time. I think we are working by a specific time. Is all I hear?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. We don't have much of time. I would like to say you should just address the question. I have two questions here that I want to just bring up. Number one is this, which the answer is actually yes, but I want you to speak to this. Can all the Power Platform apps synchronize? Like you get data from Power Pages, then analyze data using Power BI? Yes, the answer is yes. And even right here in SharePoint list, as you can see here, you can click on, integrate, and from there, see Power BI, on integrate. If you click on integrate right there, you see Power BI, see how they synchronize, and click on visualize the list. It's automatically going to project Power BI and analyze the data, just so that you can see how all these applications and services integrate to one another. You can see right there with SharePoint list, you can use Power BI, you can use Power Apps, you can use Power Automate, even on this list. Same way it is for other services within the Power Platform, they synchronize with one another. And the question that I think you might want to also address is this: is there market potential for low-code applications in Nigeria? Are there jobs in the field?
I'm actually thinking that you would be in a better position to answer that question.
Okay, so yeah. I would say yes. Yes, because Musin today is a Power Platform consultant, and that's why he's talking to us about it today. And we have a huge community where we see people getting employed almost every month and every week thereabout. I have loads of people around me today that are Power Platform, developer who are working in organizations. But let me talk to you about this potential. Every organization are on a digital transformation journey. They want to. You understand me? They really want to change something. They want to automate their process. They want to digitally transform. And they cannot leave all the efforts to developers because they all have a lot of backlogs already. So if you're already working today and you can acquire this skill, you become more productive, you become more relevant. And that's what we have seen today, that loads of people, lesser people are building career in this space, but many people are already working and they're adding the skill to themselves and they're really getting employed, getting more promoted, getting more relevant at work because they are doing something they love and they are earning themselves the right recognition. For anyone who have decided to build career in this space, yes, up on there we share jobs in LinkedIn WhatsApp group, Power Apps Africa, where there are job placements you see right there, and we see people working in consulting, working for organizations who are actually creating new units and departments to address digital transformation using local technology. So I would say if you have this skill and you are showing it out there on LinkedIn by participating in events like this, definitely getting a job will not be a challenge. There is huge potential in this space.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, I think I've answered that same question. I think that's the other question we have, and time is not so much on our side, but what would, I hope you're done with your demo session, right, Musin?
Yes, I'm done. It's a good point to stop.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how, you click on the button in Power Automate to trigger the button and you're able to do a check-in for your organization, and you trigger the button again, you're able to do checkout, and everything synchronized right on this list. This is amazing, and thank everyone for joining. I just want to also add that in case you've not joined, make sure you click on the link right there, ak.ms/PowerAppsAfrica, to join our user group. And I want to amazing thank you to our sponsors. We have Deep Brand Consulting, which also Musin is representing and is working there. We have Reliance Info System, we have Fastlane, we have Computer Revolution Africa Group, Technology Redefined, and we also have Computer Revolution Uganda. Thank you to our partner organizations who are making this really amazing, and giving gifts and rewards to all participants. And for now, I'm going to say thank you also to Musin for your presence and all the things, you're able to teach us today. Interesting and fantastic as we explore the world of automation with Microsoft Power Automate. Until Friday when we meet, where we're going to discuss what we've covered this week. It's going to be This Week in Power Apps Africa Challenge. I want you to follow through with all the lessons that have been dropped, your daily mission, and the points you can now. And also make sure you join in the community user group and get your friends to also join and participate. Till that time, I'm going to say thank you and bye for now.
Thank you.